Welcome back to Basin Motorsports for another day here in the garage. This week we're going to jump back into our 2020 collaboration series, and the collaborator I'm working with is Ken from Blue Oval Media.
What is happening, everybody? It's your boy Ken of Sean with Blue Oval Media.
Now you probably know Ken from his car or from his Instagram, which is KSDNotch on Instagram. He has a phenomenal black Terminator swapped coupe. And if you've probably seen this thing somewhere listed, either on Instagram, on Facebook, somewhere else, it is a fantastic job. And recently he is just getting it back out of paint. I think for the second time he's painted this car, trying to get it just to be the top next level build. So again, we're going to go over the same 15 questions that we start with, and we'll see what Ken comes up with for some of these answers and how they differed from these other ones. So, what is going to be the first tool or tool set a new enthusiast should buy?
You know, when I think about that question, I'm like, do you want to say the typical stuff? You know, do you want to say pliers or wrench? But, you know, a part of me just want to say something, that's just like out of control. You know what I mean? Like, you know what? You should probably get a torque wrench set. No, I'm sorry. I mean, the first tool probably that's something that everybody could use is a screwdriver. I'm just being honest. Probably a screwdriver. I use a screwdriver almost probably once a week, probably more so than anything. So I guess the tool you would use the most, but I got a whole bunch of them. So yeah, we're gonna go with that.
Now, as much as I could say that something crazy would be fun, I would definitely agree with some new screwdrivers. Even a screwdriver set, even just something simple, you can get kind of those big sets and all that. Definitely a good choice in choosing something for your first tool. All right, so question 2. With magazines now becoming extinct like the dinosaurs, where do you think media is going to head over the next 5 years?
Because full-time, what I do for a living is that I do marketing full-time for a living. And so the media is going all digital, period. Like, it's not even the next 5 years. It's starting today. We're going to see a major increase in more digital space. And as digital, and what digital is your online publications, your Facebooks, your Instagrams, Snapchats, all the stuff that a lot of you all may not use. But that's actually where it's headed. Just with Instagram alone, I've seen the popularity of a lot of cars just blow up on Instagram more than magazines could ever do. And so I believe that's where we're headed over the next 5 years.
So I think being there as we're kind of there now, I think that has been, so far, everybody's answer has been similar in that media is going digital. There's going to be very few left in print. There's just not a lot of advantage anymore to have something in print. That you read a lot of the posts in that, or some of these columns in that, they're writing them 4 months in advance to when it comes out. And in 4 months, I mean, that's half a race season to when they're coming out. So it's not timely anymore in that. And I think you, Mr. Ken, being in the digital marketing space or marketing in general, probably have a better, clear vision of what the future is going to look like, even a year from now versus 5 years. A year from now, things are just going to be so much more digital. All right, so going forward, what technology are you looking forward to the most that's going to be coming out soon?
You know, I think for me, I never thought, I've been doing what I've been doing for a little bit over 20 years. I never thought I would see cars that have 1,000 horsepower and still getting 20 miles to the gallon. So I think a part of me wants to see if we can go better than that. I mean, I think that would be amazing. If could I get 1,500 horsepower and still drive it to work every day? I think that's where we're going. I mean, with E85 computers and all this stuff. I mean, this is like cars that, you had 400 horsepower 20 years ago. You was fast. If you ran, 11 seconds, you were fast. And now it's like 9s and 8s. What are we going to be running? Dragsters, with regular street cars.
I think that's definitely one of the best things you've probably seen over the last 10 years is that horsepower continually goes up, and it just seems like it's never affecting it. They're like, whatever, I can still do it. I mean, guys are running 7s, 6s, look at drag week. I mean, I know drag week is kind of representative of that, but they're putting 1,000 miles on in a week, and some of these guys are still running. Look at Tom Bailey; he's running high fives. So to have an 8-second street car that can run down wherever you want to and still get 20, 25 miles a gallon, I think is going to be really pretty interesting, especially with forced induction and differences in fuel systems and that. Swapping over to just running some E85 on the street, pushing 900 horsepower every day, and then on the weekends pushing 1,500, I think is going to be pretty interesting. I totally agree with that. All right, so we're going to jump back into tools real quick. What is your favorite tool right now that you're using?
It's a couple of them that I would say is my favorite tool. But ratchet wrenches, man, ratchet wrenches changes the world. Try to get up under there and have to do this, and you're under there for 4 hours, and then you can put a ratchet wrench. That's definitely my favorite tool is a ratchet wrench, but I own every last one of them, from the smallest to the biggest, metric, whatever. I give them all to me. I'll take them all.
Ratchet wrenches. I always thought these were like adult mechanic fidget spinners, right? Sitting there in the garage, just flipping them back and forth. I'll totally agree. I need more of these. I've got a basic metric and a basic standard set, but you are absolutely correct. These things are fantastic. I always worry that one of these days I'm going to actually overuse it and break the inside gearing in here, but luckily I haven't yet. So we're gonna keep moving on, but awesome tool. Totally agree with that one. All right, let's jump into the dream build. What do you have? What is going to be the ultimate dream build for you?
So I would have, this question, I would have said my current build is my dream build, the KSDNotch. But actually, I know this probably make a lot of people mad, but there are 2 other cars that I want to build, and it's because they were cars that I grew up in the family that my father had. And so one of them, I would love to do a 57 Ford Thunderbird Coyote swap, and I want to do it all myself outside of tuning. A 57 Ford Thunderbird Coyote swapped with a supercharger. I don't know how the hood clearance will work, but that is more than likely the build that I would do, and I wouldn't try to get it done overnight or try to get it done within a year. And then the second one, the car that I grew up the most with was a 68 Chevrolet Corvette. And, as a Ford guy, I know that's like sin to some people, but, I believe Fords with Fords, Chevys with Chevys. And so I would love to do a 68 Corvette, strip it, drop an LS in it, supercharged. I like old cars, new technology. That's me. Old cars, new technology. So those 2 are my dream builds. So for the Ford guys that hate that I said a Corvette, I'm sorry, but I'm not.
Now, I will say Thunderbird and a Corvette are 2 icons. So I don't know that anybody that is gonna, I guess, say negative things because of the Corvette. I mean, it's pretty common to put an LS back in a Corvette, but I think the overall thought of putting new technology in old cars, that is one of the best things that's happening right now. Even if you don't like the LS, the LT, Coyote, the mod motor, anything like that, taking new stuff and putting it back into old stuff and kind of refurbishing it and making it up to the latest technology, I think is fantastic. I hope we see a lot more. I've always wondered, you see cars on just lots, right? I would love to just see companies come up with ways to put, a new engine, whatever it is, new Coyote, new Godzilla, whatever it is, into the older stuff, and make that happen more and more and more. Let's stop building old, new cookie cutter commuter cars. They're just not exciting. But an old Thunderbird with a Coyote swap and a blower, I think everybody needs one of those in their life. So you think about all the people out there that are creating in that. What are some of the hassles they come up with? Negative publicity, people just doing all that stuff. What is going to be your biggest fear as a content creator?
You know what, to be honest, I don't have any, because, for me, I gotta go here. I do my content under a different purpose, and so I believe that God will give me all the content that I ever need. And so a lot of the stuff that comes up, all the stuff that'll happen naturally. I believe that God will always give me the content that I need. And so there's no fear. The only fear is me being lazy, if that, So it's just about getting out here and making these videos happen and keep pushing this stuff out here for people to love. And, I'm just doing what I love to do and putting it out here. And there are no expectations. We all want great YouTube channels and large following and all that, but if I don't, there are people that I like to recognize, and that's all that really matters to me. So
No fear, you say. I think that was a t-shirt brand back in the 80s, wasn't it? Or is it the 90s? I'm not sure. But I will say, having no fear, you are a better man than I. I'm going to keep that in mind. The next time I think about talking to you, I'm going to say, hey, you changed that fear? Maybe not. And I hope that never changes for you. We'll see where you go. I'm going to sit and watch and see what happens. All right, moving on to question 7. What is going to be your next tool purchase?
I think for me, I love power tools, right? And so I got the big torque gun, the little one, but I need a medium-sized one. Sometimes one ain't strong enough and one is too strong. That's the one, I got all this stuff. I got a big old toolbox and I don't have a medium one, but I love battery powered stuff because, man, back in the day, I grew up with my old man, everything was air powered and you had to bring that hose around everywhere. That was the worst. No, never that.
Oh man, battery powered stuff? That is the bomb. That is man, I can't even believe some of the stuff that's coming out in battery now. Thankfully everything's starting to come out with battery powered everything. And compressors, man, I like my compressor, I'll say, but there are some days just dragging those hoses, like you said, dragging that hose around is absolutely just a pain in the butt. It seems like it catches everything, drags everything, you name it. There's just no way to get around a battery tool that you can just carry around in your hand or in your pocket and not have to drag that hose around. Absolutely good answer. All right, so are you a fan of celebrities? And if you are, who is the one that you want to meet that you haven't met yet? The automotive celebrity.
Wow. The thing about it is that I'm not a big, for me, I like the local guys. I look up to the local guys. So, to me, Foxcast is a celebrity, the Foxcast, Demon Fox, my man Chris, those guys, Brutal Vlogs, those are the guys that I like to sit down and talk with because, anybody, those are celebrities to me. I just like the little guys. So, the other YouTube content creators that love these cars, I literally love the lane that I'm in. And so, I haven't met all of them, but those are the guys that I would love to, those are celebrities to me. So those are the guys I would love to sit down and talk with.
All right, so here's the challenge for you, Ken. I know you and the Infamous Project were talking about putting something together, and when I talked to Demon Fox, my suggestion to him was to get some stuff together at some of these shows. You're probably going to go to the Hershey, Pennsylvania Chocolate Fox Show, Fox Cobra Fest, Mustang Week, any stuff that's on the East Coast that you go to. The challenge is to get all of the fan favorites together, right? You've got, like you mentioned, Brutal, you've got Demon Fox, you've got Gearhead 704, Infamous Project, you've got Foxcast. Like I told Demon Fox, get everybody together, put together a panel, make one big video of all of you guys and share. Everybody can have their own version of the content and all that stuff, kind of like we're doing here. Get everybody together, put together a list, and just have like a group chat for an hour. Somebody lead it, somebody steer the conversation, and put together something with everybody at some of these big shows. A couple of these guys have podcasts. Make a big podcast with everybody in a room. Talk about like we are today. Where's technology going? Where's media going? What's the next best thing with just Fox bodies themselves? What's the next best thing? And your answer can't be the Godzilla engine because that's already broke loose. That one's already kind of coming loose. Maybe some secrets on who's doing them next other than Team Z. But that's the thing. Put together a big list like that of all the celebrities. Wow us with some content. I think it's out there, and you guys can make it happen on the East Coast. All right, moving on to question 9. What is the car or truck or vehicle that you hope to find in an abandoned barn or warehouse?
Man, this is one of those things like you all will get mad at me again. There are only 2 cars I would love to find. I would need a Eleanor type of Ford fastback and a '69 Chevrolet Camaro. I know. I said it.
So again, 2 great choices. 69 Camaro, I think, is probably my favorite of that first gen of the 67, 8, 9. I think the 69 is my favorite just because it's a little bit wider on the front than that. I will say, though, the Eleanor, definitely a good choice. I'm a huge fan, especially after Gone in 60 Seconds. Kind of trivial in that with the movie, but that was definitely there. The thing I find interesting is that of all these videos out there, the ones you find in a barn and the ultimate favorite all-time build rarely are the same ones. And that's something that's interesting. It's like the car you hope to find and the car you hope to build are 2 different ones. I'm not sure why. Even I was different, but that's kind of interesting that they're separate in people's minds. All right, so think back over the last 5 years. What is the worst trend you have seen?
The worst automotive trend in the last 5 years. Wow. What in the last 5 years has been terrible? Y'all gonna be mad if I say this, but I get it. They work. But a EcoBoost. No, I'm just playing. You know what? That is a great question. That's one question I can't even answer. I really don't know. Got it. I do know. So I'm going to redo this question. What is the worst automotive trend in the last 5 years? GT350 motors. Not working. The 16, 17, 18, and some of the 19 motors. As a Ford enthusiast, to see those GT350s go through what they have gone through is absolutely terrible. And so that is Ford. Please get it together.
I figured this would be a tough question because there's definitely a lot of potentials out there. I never would have thought about the GT350 motors being your worst trend. It's kind of nichey, but I get it. I think when you spend that kind of money on what is borderline supercar range or something like that, I don't think anybody expects that something in this day and age is going to have so many problems. Question will be, will the GT500, being kind of like the next evolution, have the same problem or similar problems that the GT350 motors had? So talking about trends versus going backwards, we're now going to go forwards. What do you think is going to be the new big trend over the next 5 years?
Well, that's a beautiful question. I think that, we're going to get more power out of these smaller motors. Like, man, for you to be able to get a car with 700 horsepower from the factory, like that's becoming the standard now. Like, GT500s and Dodge Demons and all that, you can literally buy them and go to the track and run 10 seconds. That's crazy. Like, with the factory tires, that's crazy to me. So I think that we're going to see more power out of some of these cars. And I also think that they're going to be more money. Because these cars, these are $100,000. I love the GT500, but y'all can keep that $100,000 car.
I think that's a huge answer right there. Going forth, smaller engines, more power, and the fuel economy, I think, is something that's fantastic. I mean, who would have thought that the Elephant would come out with 1,000 horsepower from the factory, and you put it straight in some old muscle car and run street tires? I mean, that's crazy. Now, getting off of trends, what is the absolute worst job you have ever had?
Ooh. I'm gonna go here. I don't think I've ever had a terrible job, but I'm gonna say, if I'm gonna equate it to a boss, like I said, I do marketing, so I worked at one of the companies, and I just had a boss that just was not invested in making sure that any of us grew outside of herself, and so terrible to this day. Like, and it was years ago. I probably need to get healed from that because that was just bad.
I will say I've had some really good managers and I've had some really bad managers. I think people don't really necessarily leave bad jobs a lot of days, but they will definitely leave bad management. So I think when I was a manager in that, one of the things I really, really strived for every day was making sure I took care of my people. And hopefully they always felt that I had their best interest in mind. Even the days we had some clashes and I didn't necessarily agree, I always tried to make sure that they got the best thing that they needed, even if it wasn't what they wanted. But I can see that. I can see a bad manager or a bad supervisor or anything else really making a job terrible every day. Ooh, I don't look forward to that again, ever. All right, so here we are in February when I'm filming this. You've got another 10 months to go, basically, in 2020. What is the one creator or a handful of creators that you'd like to work with this year in your YouTube video or something else?
Basin Motorsports. I mean, it's pretty much all the people I named before. I love to work with Foxcats. I love to work with Brutal. Me and my man Chris, the infamous project, we already talked about working together. So all the Foxbody guys, and then there's a couple of them that's a little bit bigger. I love Stang Mode. Stang Mode is pretty big to me. I would love to combine, because he's on that newer side of Mustangs. I would love to combine the old with the new, with Stang Mode, and so I think that would be big.
Well, there again, mentioning all the guys, and a lot of them are on the East Coast. I'm not sure about Stang Mode. I'm not sure where he is at, but I think a lot of those guys that you mentioned previously on your Automotive Celebrities, they're all East Coast, and they're probably going to be at these bigger shows. So get everybody together. I want to see what you guys come up with. Podcast, however you want to do it. Answer a bunch of questions, but there is definitely an opportunity to get everybody together this year in one single place. All right, we are nearing the end. What are the events you're going to attend in 2020?
Whew. Let me see. The first one is here locally in Chicago. It's called World of Wheels. It's a big indoor show. And so that's going to be major for me. My goal is to go to Foxtoberfest. My goal is to also make it to Mustang Week this year. Ponies in the Smokies. I'm doing a whole lot this year. I may go to the Chocolate Fox show in Pennsylvania because Fox Resto's first time doing it. I might do that one. It is a couple of shows in the Midwest that I'm going to attend. Bottom line, when this car come out of paint in the next few weeks, I am trying to take it everywhere because I literally spent almost 2 years with this car on jack stands, doing jack stand racing, and so it's time for it to be outside.
So I think there's going to be a couple other guys that I've seen that are probably going to be at the World of Wheels, so hopefully you guys can hook up and get together for that. I think all the other ones you've already mentioned, I've mentioned, everybody's mentioned, they're the biggies. Foxtoberfest, Mustang Week, the Chocolate Fox Show. You've got a bunch of stuff. Ponies and Smokies, I hadn't even mentioned that so far, but I know there's going to be a couple other people there at that show with Foxbody products and other stuff. So it'll be awesome. Can't wait to see what you guys come up with out that way going to all those shows. And the last question, number 15. What is your favorite car of all time?
Foxbody Notchback. There's no other answer to that. I mean, no, seriously. Bought my first Foxbody at 17, and so that was almost 21 years ago. And I've been in them ever since. Now, I haven't let go. I took about a 15-year hiatus because I got into a bad street racing accident back in 2003. But I got back in it back in 2016 and haven't stopped since then. And so that is my favorite car of all time is the Foxbody Mustang. And then all the other cars I named previously are will fall under that. But for the rest of my life, the Foxbody Mustang will always be my favorite car.
I think that's a totally viable answer, and thank you for mentioning that. Foxbody Mustang. I will agree. Having them in my life, I guess, for decades, it's hard to imagine having many other things, even though there's plenty out there. And you mentioned a few other ones, but you're right. Having a Foxbody in your life, it'll change you. Makes you a better person, I think. All right. Well, I want to say thanks to Ken at Blue Oval Media or KSDNotch on Instagram. I can't wait to see how your car comes out of the paint booth and see it at all the shows this year. But thank you for spending some time answering my 15 questions. Everybody else that is mentioned, and we'll see where this takes us for the rest of the year. If you are a content creator and you would like to answer the 15 questions, all you have to do is video yourself answering the 15 questions. And if you need the list, just contact me. All you got to do is upload it somewhere on the internet that I can download it. I will grab it and I will make my own version of your answers and put you in the collaboration list. I've got a couple others in the queue right now, and we will keep this rolling on for 2020. Thanks for watching this time. Thanks to Ken again at Blue Oval Media, and we'll see you next time from the garage.